So I thought would be an interesting thing to run over some of the statistics from the live events. So as as Daniel mentioned, we have done 27 live events here in the NCBI Labs team. 99% of them were done by the team that are on the call here at the moment, and Jude has been emceeing them for many years. They've been a huge success. We've had over 4,000 views. I'm not sure if that includes the podcast downloads as well, but we've had a huge amount of podcast downloads as well. So you can listen to this this live event after the fact. And JP, you might call out one or two of the statistics as well.
Yeah, of course, Karen. So I'm just going to talk through some of the stats for the year. As I said, 27 live events, including today, about 34 video tutorials, demonstrations, different lengths. Some are short, maybe some are a little bit longer. Yeah, as you said, over 4,000 YouTube views and podcast listens. We've had 10 Sing It Your Way service user interviews, which has been great.
I've really enjoyed those. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've had 10 guest interviews now as well, which I can. I'll just share a slide there now, Kyron, so you can go through some of these. Some of the highlights of the year.
Yeah, some great guests we've had on the air. I think one of our first guests, the Be My Eyes founder Hans, was a really interesting insight into the Be My Eyes app, which is a hugely popular app for those with sight loss.
Absolutely, yeah, that was one of the best ones. I think we had one of the kind of ones that kickstarted the live events as well. Live event 4, yeah, that was definitely one of the best. And we had Lena Kusi on from the library then, the live event 5, to talk about the NCBI Overdrive and Bookshare services. And do you want to go through these, Karen, yourself, or will I keep going?
No, you keep on going.
Perfect, yeah. So then we had Chantel Smith from the NCBI, and she was on talking about the Microsoft Soundscape app, which we're doing a lot of work on at the moment. Hilary Devlin, another NCBI staff member, was on to talk about Supernova Magnifier. So some people use Zoom text, so Hilary uses Supernova. She was on to tell us about that. And then Gar McCreasty was on from the HSE to talk us about the COVID tracker app, which has been a real game changer. So there's a huge number of downloads. Carol Byrne from the NCBI library was on talking about Braille production. And then one of my favorites, then we had Sam Seavey, a YouTuber from the States. He was on live event 17 to talk us through smart home tech. We actually played a demonstration on that event of a smart Amazon smart oven. So that was a great show. Yvonne Lyman Gleason was on to talk about the Connect 12 digital magnifier, very popular device in education. And then Rene Espinoza was on to talk about the Lazarillo navigation app in live event 19. And then more recently, we had Javier Pita Lozano on live event 24 about the NaviLens navigation app.
Wow, some great guests throughout the year. I think it's one of my favorites as well was the COVID tracker app with Gar from the HSC. That was really interesting to see how important accessibility testing and accessibility development was for the HSC as part of their development of that app as well. Really interesting interview. Just to remind everyone too, like we're at event number 27, and all of our events are available for download on your favorite podcasting service. So like Apple Podcasts or Google. What do Google call it? Google, I wish it would work. And also we have all of our live events are published to YouTube as well, so you can actually you can listen in after the fact as well. And also just to say a big welcome along to those people that are listening in live at the moment as well. So okay, so I think what'd be fun is there's been such amount of content that we've created on the live events, and I thought it'd be an interesting way if we talk about what was our own favorite or our own impactful feature that was held on the live event. And do send us in the comments too if you've got a specific live event that you thought was very interesting or funny or informative, or actually also tell us if you thought one of them wasn't great either. We can take it. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do first is how about we go to Sean first. And Sean, from your own perspective, I mean, which of the live events did you find fun or interesting or
Well, it was actually a fairly recent one, and it was the NaviLens one when we were interviewing Javier, and Javier is very good at talking. He talked us through the entire app. I don't even think we need to play some of the videos. We had videos queued up, but he was quite happy to explain more, and it would actually worked out for us. But I think the app is very interesting because of the information it can give to service users and people out, who are going to be using mobility. And we had a few questions and concerns about it. And they're very interesting questions. People are saying, well, I've no sight. How am I going to know that this is in place? Or how am I going to be able to find it? And the technology they're using is actually, you can scan it from up to like 30 meters away. Oh, wow. It's like a QR code, but it's actually much more colorful and it's much more simplified. So your camera can capture it quite quickly. And so if a person is quite far away, I mean, the issue is they have to know places that have them. So if these get introduced into train stations or hospitals or offices, then you would know that when I'm at reception, maybe if I scan my phone around the room, I'm going to pick up all these bits of information. And that could be like you walk into a hospital, you know, there might be a sign over a door, you might scan the sign and it might give you directions to the reception.
Oh, brilliant. And certainly was a very popular one as well, just based on the number of views that we achieved for that one too. So, and if people have any more questions on that, is there a way that they can contact Javier, or should they come to us directly, Sean?
Well, they should probably come to us. They can send us a question through Labs, and then we can actually relay the information to Javier. Or if they did want to go through their App Store or their Play Store, for the NaviLens app, the contact information for NaviLens is also there.
What about yourself, Daniel? What was one of your favorite segments from one of the live events?
Yeah, but there has been a good number of them. But the one I kind of enjoyed was, looking out for kind of what to get in a PC or a laptop. The hardware end of it, what to look out for, the different specs, the pitfalls of that. And I suppose that kind of, we touched on it again there recently when we were coming on to the Black Friday as well. We kind of just revisited that in a way. I suppose for me, like, it's, identifying a laptop or a piece of equipment that's going to suit your needs, without going, maybe going for something that's too powerful that you mightn't use, or going for something that's, that you need more power, but you're not going with the hardware that you need to do the job as well. So those are things to look out for in the laptops. The discussion for me around that was very enjoyable. Everybody kind of has their own opinions on it. Because there's so much choice out there, everybody kind of sees certain things in different ways and goes for that,
Yeah, I think it's something that people do come to us quite a lot and ask for advice on which specific laptop or to buy, and we're always happy to do that. We, we're agnostic in our views, I suppose, on what hardware. I mean, for me, our goal is, as you said there, to make sure you get the right spec. That you need for the type of software that you're using it. So, JAWS is notoriously hungry for power on the laptop. So if you're a JAWS user, do reach out to us, and we can certainly advise you on what the best one is to suit your needs.
Exactly. I've just seen it, like, even before I joined NCBI, like, I've seen in the computer world how hardware can be a mismatch for the job it's going to do. So it's always nice to see somebody getting a piece of equipment that you're confident is going to perform for many years into the future for them. So that for me was one of the takeaway points of the year.
Okay, cool. Brian, and yourself?
I suppose, Kyron, I suppose the best of the live events for me, or the more interesting one, was the day we went totally dotty. The live event went totally dotty one of the days there, and we concentrated on Braille.
Oh, brilliant.
And we looked at some of the, the emerging advances in Braille, digital Braille technology. We looked at things like the L Braille. We mentioned the Dot Watch, which is a Braille watch that has a 4-cell Braille display attached to it. We looked at some of the, the main devices that are being used in education at the moment, like the Polaris, the Braille Sense, the Braille Note Touch. Lena was there, and Lena, which is something that maybe we'll refer back to again in a while. But she gave us good information on the whole the Lego Braille initiative, which is basically kind of using the conventional Lego concept and using that particularly for young people at the moment to learn Braille. And again, hopefully this is something that I think would have far-reaching effects for adults who wish to learn Braille as well. I'm constantly getting people who want to learn Braille, even not necessarily literacy Braille, but Braille, I suppose you could nearly call it ergonomical Braille that they would use in an everyday life for, you know, playing cards, or maybe reading, you know, buttons on a lift. So I think that it could have great implications for learning that type of Braille. And it really was a good day. I mean, Kyron, you spoke there of all of the podcasts, how you can, you know, how can you can reach these live events through the podcasts and through YouTube. But I mean, that one day was the day that Netflix nearly, you know, came knocking on our door. It was so important and so exciting. Yeah. So we nearly put the crown off of the #1 spot in Netflix that day, I think.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Well, I have access to the stats, and I know that that's true. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. JP, and yourself.
Yeah, so Karen, there's been so many live events, as we mentioned. It's sometimes hard to choose one particular live event that kind of stood out. And I think for me the highlight was the show we did on the smart home technology. It was back in July, and we had Sam Seavey on, who I mentioned a moment ago. He's a YouTuber who's from the States. He has Stargardt disease. And I say that the show was focused primarily on smart home tech. So Sam gave us a demonstration of the of Amazon Smart Oven, and now it's not available in Ireland yet, but it kind of gave us an idea as to maybe what to expect down the line. Hopefully, what we hear. But we had a lot of good demos on this show. We had a demonstration of a Samsung Smart TV. We had a Samsung Smart washing machine that Joe did as well, a demo on that, and we also had discussions on things like smart video doorbells, thermostats, and even smart vacuum cleaners. But I think the highlight of the show for me was having Sam on, and he gave us some kind of an insight into his YouTube channel, which I think a lot of our listeners will be familiar with. He has a lot of really good demonstrations.
Yeah, I really enjoyed listening to that one. So his YouTube channel is an absolute find for someone who wants to know the latest on any tool for people with sight loss. It's so well done. I have to say, I really enjoyed that episode myself. And I think your very first video that you produced for the live event was on Amazon, wasn't it? It was on Smart Tech.
It was. It did one on the Amazon Echo. That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a huge popularity in that smart speaker, particularly over the last few months. But I remember we had asked Sam when he was on about his YouTube channel, and he gave us some really good advice, because occasionally I might chat to service users and different people who might be interested in recording their own podcasts or YouTube videos, and we had asked him at the time, what advice he'd give to someone starting off, starting off their own video demonstrations and that kind of thing. And he gave us a really kind of nice answer. He said you don't need to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. I thought it was a really nice.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Yeah,
that's good.
And I have to say, even podcasts and live events such as these, and there's lots and lots of them out there now that are focused for people who with sight loss. So they're hugely great resource, very powerful as well. So I as long as people keep listening to them, we'll keep creating them here in the NCBI.
Exactly.
Thanks JP. Joe, on yourself.
Hi Karen. I liked a few of them actually, but I'll mention two really quickly. The Be My Eyes one was the first one I really liked. To have hands-on talk about an app that's used all over the world. Such a simple app to get assistance through an app. So it's blind people getting assistance from sighted people, and it's really good. It's I suppose there's almost a community out there now at this stage. And the other things I enjoyed were anything to do with smart tech, I suppose, smart home technology, and the Google Home. I covered the Google Home after JP had already covered Alexa. I covered Google Home, so they both do the same thing in general, I suppose. They're voice activated smart speakers. So I enjoyed covering that, and I enjoyed the fact that people have taken to them, and it helps people independence, and they're starting to connect with new devices every day and every month. You know what I mean? So that's my summary on things.
We were only saying earlier, actually, we were chatting on this, and since you were explaining how you could have a washing machine with smart tech, And when I was thinking about it, like I struggle personally to see any of the settings when I'm, putting on a washer or whatever. And the idea to be able to do that for phone, I have to say. So we're actually going to be buying a new washing machine shortly, and I think I'm definitely getting one that can link up to my phone.
Cool. Yeah, it's a good idea because, I mean, as you said, like before, like myself, I used to put the machine at 30 degrees or 40 degrees and that was it. But I mean, it opens a whole new world to us. I mean, having full access to devices, and it saves time. It gives you just independence, so it helps.
That really is it, though, isn't it? It's all about the independence. Like all these little pieces of technology. Like for me, I don't think there's any one game changer piece of technology, but all these little things help, you know what I mean, and they make you that little bit more independent.
I feel the same actually, because between our phones and our smart speakers and things like that, they're all becoming accessible now, you know what I mean? With technology is the enabler. Like, it's, I mean, you have Siri on your phone. Even if you're not able to use the touchscreen, you can use 70% of the rest of the things on the phone. Same with video doorbells out there now and stuff. You can check who's at the door before you answer it, that kind of thing. It just makes you feel safer. There's lots of enablers out there,
Yeah, and that's I've said it before. I mean, the mantra that we tend to live by in NCBI Labs, which is the technology area, is technology is the key enabler for people with sight loss. So anyone out there that needs any support or additional advice, always do reach out and contact us. You can send us an email, labs@ncbi.ie, or you can ring the NCBI info line as well. And we're always happy to offer advice on assistive technology for people with sight loss.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Joe. Dennis, and yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. Well, whilst you said at the beginning I hadn't much to say at the start, I've got an awful lot to say in relation to technology.
I was only teasing you.
I know. But I mean, technology is just so exciting, Karen. It really is. And interestingly, whilst everybody was talking, I thought the one thing that's changed, that has so enabled so much of the device we're talking about, is the broadband that's now come into not just cities and big towns, but country as well. And it's opened up technology and all of these different devices that we've mentioned. And what I wanted to talk about, which depended on a half decent level of speed from a technology point of view, was streaming devices. The guys actually ran through this in the most recent labs, and I'd recommend, if anybody hasn't heard it, they should go back and listen. The research that's put into these live events is absolutely immense. I learned quite a bit about streaming devices then. The three main ones that we were talking about were Chromecast from Google, we were talking about Amazon Fire Stick, and Apple TV. And I think from the point of view of opening up a whole new world to people who use these devices, you can plug these into your TV, and your TV automatically becomes this, it gives you access to such a wealth of information. You can connect up to YouTube, you can connect up to Netflix, and with a TV remote that comes with the Chromecast or with the Amazon Fire Stick, you can talk. So it's audio. You can talk to it, you can ask it to open up Netflix, you can call out a program and you can get it to play that program all via audio, verbally saying it. You can, again, there's storage enablement for all of these devices. So they can store items, they can open up items, they can connect up to your phone. And I found out also this Amazon Fire Stick, for any of the people who've been around quite a long while, there's 25 Sega games that are available with that as well. And your remotes, they can connect up to Bluetooth, they can connect up to headsets, earphones, or old, I suppose, joysticks. So I think, for me, the streaming devices are exciting. And another thing I thought, Karen, from the point of view of price, these things range from €30 from the Chromecast and the Amazon. They're about anything from €30 to €70. When you get into the Apple, that goes from quite a bit more, I think 150 to 220. But I remember JP pointing out, Apple is around since, and I'm sure you'll know this, Karen, you're big into Apple as well. At 2007, the Apple TV has been around. The other device, I think, started around 2013, so they're kind of doing a catch-up. But for me, Karen, that was what I found. That particular episode I found exceptionally good, and I think that kind of technology and what that opens up to people is fantastic.
Yeah, I think one of the things that that I noticed when I joined NCBI as well is that, you know, so many of us use our devices in different ways, and it's like Joe and I were saying, is that they're enablers. But even, you know, being able to buy, let's say, an Apple TV for €100, €120, and having access to an accessible, easy to use, because some things can be accessible, but they're not easy to use. But
Yeah.
accessible, easy to use smart TV, you know, and it plugs into any TV. So, and also we have Apple TVs on demonstration and in our new technology center in Tala. We also have them in head office. So if you're looking to get a demonstration of them, do reach out to us, and we'd be happy to show you the accessible features that are built into the Apple TV, or indeed a Samsung Smart TV as standard. So you don't need to buy them before you or risk your money. You can actually come in and we'll set them up, and you can even watch some TV there too if you'd like to.